CORSAIR DreamHack Masters continues here in the city of Malmö, right here in the heartland of Sweden. My boy, am I excited to get into that arena tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure that every team is, especially here in our Group A upper bracket final, where the winner will advance to the semifinal and the loser will go on into the quarters. Either way, everybody wins, everybody goes on into the arena, and it's going to be Astralis taking on Vitality right now here live as we get them set up, get them ready to go, get them wired up, fired up, and put them in the server and hit go. Right now, joining me on the desk is going to be that of Pimp, is going to be that of Potter, and we are ready to get this party started. Welcome back, everybody, to the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. What's up, y'all?
It is, in fact, going to be a very interesting matchup, Trace, because I do think that this will be the first real big test of this new Vitality lineup, with Shox being on it. Now, no doubt, Astralis are the favorites. No doubt that Astralis, especially considering Liquid and EG now are out of the tournament, are the heavy favorites to go on and win the entire thing. But against Vitality, there's some upset potential.
There definitely is, and I mean, man, all the upsets that we've been seeing throughout this tournament thus far, it's a huge question mark to see how Vitality pulled through here. With all these roster changes coming in, it's certainly been a huge question mark.
But it just puts a smile on your face, doesn't it, Christine? I could just see the smile exuding from you right now, which, you know, makes sense. I would smile about this group as well, because this is how it's all shaped up. This is what we've got for you in Group A. We're going to leave this one up to Jacob to decipher.
Yeah, I mean, not too much to write home about here. I think the biggest question mark we had coming into this tournament was how is Furia going to do with their new lineup, how is ENCE going to do with Sunny, and we found out that both teams, you know, have had respectively some success and some downfalls. ENCE, once again, not living up to the expectations. Sunny hasn't really found his home within this lineup, whereas for Furia, they are finding themselves in a match for the playoff against Fnatic, who have done reasonably well. They sent us mixed signals, looking really good against G2, looking a little bit less good against Tyloo, so we don't really know where to put them.
We definitely don't, and I mean, looking at that group, I gotta say, it's filled with a little bit of disappointment, I think.
Yeah.
We all kind of considered the jet lag factor, we all kind of considered the new roster issues coming in, but we certainly didn't consider the results that we've been seeing thus far.
I mean, they're out there now. The whole world can see that. That's just all out there in the open. Sort of like the reasoning behind it. I think that's something that we should also explain a little bit in depth. I'm gonna let you do that, Christine.
All right, so I've got the 3 reasons why here, and it's basically the 3 reasons why Shox can revitalize his career on this new Vitality lineup. And of course, with reason number 1, we've got ZywOo. ZywOo, as a player, ever since he's emerged onto the scene, we pretty much haven't been able to stop talking about him. And I think with Shox being able to utilize him and have him as an asset will be really good for Shox's career moving forward. And with reason number 2, we've got basically, he gets to go back to his comfort zone. I know he's been in-game leading on the G2 lineup for quite some time, and they haven't had that much success going into it. So coming back onto this Vitality lineup, going back into his comfort zone is certainly going to boost his career forward a little bit. And reason number 3 is Alex. He's proven to be a good in-game leader thus far, a competent in-game leader. And I think with his guidance and the teammates surrounding Shox, he can certainly revitalize his career.
Which is exactly what they're going to have to do right here. They have an opportunity to make a statement play against Astralis, but for the time being, we're going to have to sit back and kind of digest as to why this is going to be a tough road for them. Not only is it Astralis, but we're talking about a Vitality with Shox now and trying to look a new face on themselves.
We're talking a Vitality with limited amount of practice as well. I think that's a big problem for them, right, coming into this lineup. We also heard Shox in an interview after the win yesterday, I believe, or the debate before that, say that he needs to figure out how he can be less vocal when in the lineup. He needs to figure out his place within the squad. Apex is a guy who likes to chime in all the time. Obviously, Alex is the in-game leader. ZywOo also has a say in what he wants to do, and now Shox being on the lineup as well. There's a lot of, you know, vocals on this lineup, and some of them have to back down, and I think that's got to be Shox at some point. So he needs to figure out how he can fit in within that lineup.
And it's, you know, there's been a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the CS space. There's a lot going on here at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters, and all of that continues as we have a little bit of fun with Frankie, or rather Alex does. Let's see what happens.
It's not about winning, it's about fun.
I'm not prepared for this. Do you have any idea where we're going?
I have no idea.
Are there any things that you don't like?
No, I don't think there's anything I really hate, but I generally don't like things I don't know. So like anything like any creatures and stuff that I haven't watched documentaries about, it's just a no-no.
Where are we going?
I have no idea.
Let's take a look.
Wait, animals. I like dogs, that's about it.
Okay, maybe they'll have some scaly dogs in there. So yeah, don't touch the piranhas.
Like, I saw something run in here and it was probably the reflection.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm so confused.
Alex, we've come to the reptile centre here in Malmö. I know that you're a bit nervous, but you haven't had to touch anything so far. So has it actually been a bit better than you expected?
Much better, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just a bit worried right now.
So am I. It's been a few weeks, I imagine, of wrangling and negotiating and trying. You have Shocks joining the team.
Yeah.
How is that for you?
Not much different than if we'd got anyone else, really. Obviously, what he achieved in the past is great, but what we want is for us to achieve stuff now and in the future. So if we chose him, it's because we think that we can do that with him.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh, what kind of snake is this?
Tiger snake. You want to hold it?
No.
Why don't you feel the tail, Alex? Because it's okay, it's okay. Do you want to go head? You don't have to go head first. You can go bottom first if you want.
And just keep his head that way.
And how is Zywa doing? Because he had a couple of uncharacteristically low performances. This was actually below the general player average, and that was unusual to see.
I think the majors is definitely a different pressure. I feel it as well. Like, I think he was more affected by what was going on in the team. It wasn't a great team environment, and being so young, it kind of affects him more than others. Nothing to worry about with him. He'll be, hopefully at this time, he'll be back at the 142s and we'll enjoy life.
Your coach has made it clear you're going to be leading. So Shocks had about 2 years of leading in GT. But now he's going to be taking a step back. He's going to be doing as he's told. And you're going to be telling him what to do.
Fun times.
Are you intimidated by the prospect? Because something tells me you aren't.
No, I don't. As I said, it doesn't matter what their name is. Like, if you're here and you're playing in our team, then you have to follow what you're told, and that's it. So you're going to be sending Shocks off to lurk on the T-sides? Yeah, maybe. It's cute. I thought we were getting the big one. The man-eating one.
Well, if you guys like to play with snakes, you might want to play with the map veto as well. It's just as jiggly and probably just as interesting because a best of 3 is on our hands. No snakes around here unless you've got some in your pocket.
I don't. I hate snakes, Trace.
Really? You wouldn't put a snake around your neck, Christine, would you?
I couldn't.
No?
I couldn't. No, I can't
Why?
handle snakes. I don't know. Snakes just freak me out a little bit.
Yeah, but lizards are kind of cool.
Yeah, they're okay.
Right? Yeah,
They're okay.
like we can kind of rally around one reptile doggo or whatever Frankie was saying, like a scaled dog. Anyway, let's talk about...
what freaks me out? The fact that we really don't know how this video is going to pan out, right?
Is that what you want to talk about?
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
I want to talk about map videos. I want to talk about Vitality coming in with Shocks now being on the lineup. I think we're going to see a change in map pool just a little bit. We know what maps they like to play, Inferno being one of them. We already seen it. We know Astralis have most recently picked up Vertigo to be part of their map pool. They completely left out Mirage, which is also a map Vitality is not too familiar with, at least not with Shocks yet. Also, we know that Astralis have started to play Train, which is not necessarily a strong map for Vitality either, right? So I think Astralis is looking in a good position coming into this veto.
I have to agree. I think Vitality coming in with Shocks being so new, they definitely are at a disadvantage in this veto process, and it looks like you're absolutely right. Astralis are going to take out that Mirage first, and Vitality's taking out that Train next.
Give me some Vertigo, baby. Let's give it a whirl.
Do Astralis do it again, though? I mean, I actually really liked that move that they busted out at that major and just first picking that Vertigo, and I thought it was really intelligent.
But I think that was created specifically for Team Liquid, right? That was now we're going to beat Team Liquid. They were the best team in the world at a certain time. Now we're going to figure out how to beat them, and Vertigo was part of that master plan. Whereas for Astralis, we did see them play Vertigo at New York. It was going up against Optic Gaming. That was a very close game, so I don't think it's one they're going to be willing to pick. That being said, though, it could be the third map.
Yeah, or it could be the first map.
I'm wrong.
So maybe you want to run that one back? Or?
No, I mean, I think it's ballsy. I think it's cool to see. And I think it's based off the fact that we know the Vitality most likely haven't had time to practice a lot with Shocks. They've been focusing on the more generic maps such as Inferno, Dust 2, and so forth. So it makes sense in that aspect.
It definitely does. And again, I really like this Vertigo pick coming out of Astralis. They're understanding that Vertigo is a newer map. And if we think back in Astralis' legacy thus far, they've elevated the Counter-Strike competitive scene for so long, elevating the utility level. And now Vertigo being new, they're elevating the gameplay on this map. No team is familiar with this map so far. They don't really understand the most optimal positioning or the most optimal nades. All teams are learning that as you go, and Astralis are coming out and saying, hey, we have been the best, and we're going to start the trend on Vertigo.
A tiny bit curious, though, to see why they removed Inferno and decided to go with Nuke. Astralis and Nuke, as of lately, we know that it was one of the legacy maps. It was one of the best maps they had in the entire map pool. But as of late, we've seen how EG have completely manhandled Astralis and Nuke. So it's a little bit of a gamble in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, Vertigo, Dust 2, Nuke, Astralis. I want to kind of run it back to something that Christine just said here as we look over Device, Sipnix, Glaive, Magisk, and Dupree. There is really something to be said there about the elevation that they've put on the scene. Like, in all reality, you look at sports, traditional sports teams. You think about some of the components that they have outside of the game. Well, that's something that Astralis has really brought forward to the table and shown value. And obviously, with the value of Astralis, we're talking about a world-class #1 contending team at pretty much any given Sunday.
Absolutely. And one beautiful thing about Astralis' utility game and what they've elevated so far is even 8 months ago, HE grenades, most teams within our scene was only using the HE grenades to do at least 9 damage. 9 damage, so that on that CT side, you've got that one-shot headshot potential, because prior to, you only do that 91 damage with that gun. So most teams, if they got that 9 damage done with that HE grenade, they were just happy enough with that. But Astralis said, you know what, we're going to bust out the double HE grenades, we're going to bust out the Molotovs, we're going to bust out the smokes. So just elevating the level of utility coming out of Astralis, every team lives up to that and looks up to that.
It's the consistency coming out from these guys as well, right? You have a guy on the screen right here who consistently have been performing over and over again. Magic's Boy is a guy that they need to rely on a lot. He's sort of like the gap filler within this lineup. He's not supposed to be the main star, yet he plays like he is, right? The same goes on for Dupree. He's the entry fragger. He's on a high level all the time. Now, if we look and compare Astralis to, for example, let's say Liquid, right? When Astralis were at the absolute worst, when we're used to them banging out everyone. We were used to them being the absolute best team in the world. At their worst, they were ranked #3 in the world, right? Whereas for Liquid right now, we see how, let's say, how bad they play when they're not playing well, right? The consistency and the whole foundation surrounding this Astralis lineup is super, super strong. So even when they're playing at the C level, even when they're playing at the B level, they still win tournaments, they still win games, and that's one of the biggest attributes this Astralis lineup has.
What about the French plus the 1 UK guy? Let's talk about Vitality. Let's switch the focus. We've talked about Astralis all year long. I'm pretty sure we're going to continue to talk about them, but right now they have a tough matchup on their hands. Again, on the outside of this matchup, the loser will go to the quarterfinals, and the winner will have that berth into the semifinals. So Apex, Shox, RPK, Alex, and Ziwu. Christine, how about you?
Well, I want to touch a little bit more about what Jacob spoke of. That interview that Shox had with Frankie in that postgame, where he mentioned that he was trying to juggle how to communicate properly with his team. Maybe there was a little bit too much over communication. But I want to focus on the fact that understanding communication is just as important, if not even more important sometimes, is understanding what your teammates, the information that they're giving you, being able to decipher that and turn it into a frag or turn it into a round win. And the best players in the world, in Ziwu and in Shox, and these players, they're able to get that information the split second, make a decision, and capitalize and optimize on the information that's given to them. And that's the kind of plays I like to see.
Well, let's back that up, though, because honestly, you talked about Shox and your 3 reasons. Well, let's talk about him now. Let's talk about what he brings to the table here.
He brings a lot to the table. He brings some experience. He brings, you know, an understanding of the game and basically an individual level that is unheard of, to be completely honest. When he's on fire, when he's on his A game, he is one of the best players in the world. Now, the problem with him is he hasn't been, you know, that good for quite some time now. I do like the fact that you're talking about what he brings to the offer as well. Look at this lineup, right? Shox is a playmaker. Now you have Apex, he's a playmaker. You have Alex being the in-game leader, an in-game leader that likes to be the playmaker. And then you have Ziwu, who, you know, he's born to be a playmaker. Where's Shox gonna fit in that, right? You can't have 4 different playmakers on one team. So Shox will have to back down a little bit. Shox will have to take a second seed role, so to speak, and calm down and maybe not be the playmaker in all scenarios, but be a guy that can follow up and be the guy that can close out the rounds. What he's also very good at, he just haven't done it for some time, because he's always felt in his entire career that if I don't make the plays, if I'm not the playmaker for my teams, there's no way we're gonna win. But now you're playing with Ziwu, now you're playing with Alex, so maybe it's not needed, and that's, you know, the main thing I feel Shox needs to acknowledge and learn within this Vitality lineup. And if he does that, then I think this could be very dangerous.
Do you think that if you were in Twitch chat right now, hey guys, do you think you would put your vote in Twitch chat, or do you think you would just kind of like...
I'd do one of 2 things. I'd probably do #AST, or I'd do shut up analyst and start the game.
Start match. That's not bad. That's actually pretty much what I was thinking too. But
me too.
We really need to get some predictions out of both of you. So we're going to start with you, Christine. I want you to drive this one home.
Oh man, this is such a tough one. I want to say that I have to go with Astralis here. You know, I think, Jacob, you bring up such a good point. It's kind of, you know, well known that Astralis and Foundation go hand in hand, and I think that certainly helps them. We haven't seen them struggling quite as much as the other teams coming in straight from New York and suffering from the jet lag. They have Foundation that they can just fall back on, and they don't have to rely so much on the individual stars showing up and putting up huge numbers. They can rely on each other and use the whole group to get the W. So I'm going to go with Astralis.
I'm going to go with Astralis too, but I think it's going to be a competitive game. And there's only one guy in my mind who can ruin that dream of Astralis going straight into the semifinal, and that'll be Saivu. Yesterday, he posted, I think it was 85-40, a plus 40, kill-death differential in that game. And if he's at the same level today, and if he can produce that stat line against Astralis, then sure, there's always a chance Vitality is going to win. But as said, Astralis Foundation, the professionalism and everything that is surrounding this team is enough for them to be able to beat Vitality. So it's probably going to be a 2-0 in my mind, but could go to a third.
Yeah, you know, my brain is telling me that Astralis is going to win this game.
How about you use it for once?
I don't know that this is going to be any different time than normal.
Okay.
So Astralis is going to win this game. And then there's the Vitality side that you can't really dismiss it. Either way, both of these teams have shown success here at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters thus far. Let's not discredit this. This is not a loser match. This is not an elimination match. We're talking about two teams that are going to be in the arena regardless. Yeah. One's just going to be doing it easier.
And I'm glad you said it right, because both teams have qualified for the playoff already. Basically, what they're playing for is another day off and a direct invite into the semifinal, which I think for both teams would be a good thing. More time to practice, more time to prepare, especially considering Astralis came straight from New York. They would like another day off, so there's a lot on stake here.
There definitely is. Yeah, I have to agree 100%.
Well, that's what we will do. Vertigo, Dust2, do we think we get the nuke?
I don't think so personally. I think Astralis will be too strong. I think the foundation of that lineup is going to be too much for Vitality to handle. Also considering Astralis is one of those teams that have no problem playing it slow, right? They will force Vitality into the mid-rounds. They will force them in to make all those decisions. And I think, based on what Shock said in that interview, it's going to be a tough task for them to really feel out who is it that's going to be the playmaker? Who is it that's going to make the call when it gets down to the 3 versus 3 scenarios? So I think Astralis is going to win out the majority of those scenarios, and that's why I believe they'll win 2-0.
How about we switch it up here? We're going to do a head-to-head. We've got Ziwu on one side. We've got Device on the other. Now, let's really think about this in terms of an actual head-to-head. It's kind of disgusting when you think about the potential of both of these players, but both of them can be shining lights for their teams.
They definitely can, and I mean, when we think about both of these players, they have a bit of a different playing style. Device is just kind of that rock. He's the player that's going to make always the most high percentage plays in whatever position he's in. So you're generally not going to see him having to flick very often. You're not going to see him having to be in those uncomfortable situations and thrive in the chaos. He's going to have the backup of his teammates. He's always going to have a flashbang to back him up if he runs into a sticky situation. Whereas when you watch Ziwu, he's the guy that really likes to put himself in those close counter positions and fall back, and he's a guy that thrives in those chaotic situations. And I think that's the new blood, the new style of operas that are coming in that really capitalize, and it looks really good in that server.
I'm glad you said it right, because I do feel when you talk about Device, there's no doubt that he's a skilled player. There's no doubt that he is one of the best players in the world when he wants to be, but that's down to the fact that he always prepares so well. He's a smart guy. He's a professional player. Whereas for Saivu, that is pure talent right there. He's instinctive in the game, are some of the best that I've ever seen. The way he plays the game, some of the best I've ever seen. There's a case to be made that he may be the best player in the world right now, depending on how well Simple decides to play throughout this tournament and throughout the rest of the year. But the guy on your screen right here, he's always going to be that second guy, the third guy. He's never going to be the best player in the world, I'm sorry to say, but he is a top-tier professional, and he will always deliver within a system.
I mean, there's a statement to be made about being the best player in the world versus being on the best team in the world. Sure. You know, that's an argument that can be made right here and now for Device.
Yeah, definitely, and I think Device is a big part of this team, right? The fact that he's willing to sacrifice some of that individual glory in order to fit into Glaive's system and in order to fit in the whole, let's call it the Astralis model. I think when you look at the teams, right, when you look at a team like Liquid, you look at EG, you look at Astralis, they stick out to be the more professional team. They constantly talk about it, they constantly talk about the whole model they have, and I think that's, you know, a great example is this tournament. They're coming in from New York, same circumstances as Liquid, same circumstances as EG, but they're performing up to somewhat the same level, right, and we'll see more after this game, but that's what Astralis does. They are top-tier professionals, and they may not have the most skill on the server when they're playing against Liquid or EG for that matter, but they always make it work.
They definitely do always make it work, and I think there's an argument to be made whether what's more impactful, what's more better for a team. Is that going to be the rock, the consistent guardians, the consistent devices,
like
or is it going to be the Ziwus and the crazy chaotic operas and Kenny S? And you know, I think it has to do with what phase you are in the team. on Astralis, you don't need a superstar opera who's going to always be in the faces, always going to try to look for openings and create advantages for your team. You've got a lineup of 5 individually competent players who are all going to fulfill their responsibilities and then some. And so when you have a full working unit like that, you don't necessarily need someone to go above and beyond and do more than they are required to do. So I think both players have their ups and downs, but in Astralis' case, Device fits perfectly into the system.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. I think we kind of milked this goat trace. It's at a point where we can't really talk more about it. I think
you can. What we can talk about is Fury and Fnatic over on the B stream. We can go to a break, but first we will talk about that a little bit because there's implications there, right? A winner will go on to the quarterfinals, and a loser is out. It's over. Don Dada, done, finito, whatever you want to say. I don't even know how do you say that in Danish? Finished.
Finished. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I mean, it is an interesting game, given the fact that we have Furia, going up against Fnatic. They're coming into this lineup, into this tournament with a lineup change as well. Bringing in Henny is to me an interesting pick, right? That means that he's now the primary AWPer, whereas Art is having to be the in-game leader and take a step back and be the secondary AWPer. How's that gonna pan out? So far, so good. Dare I say they're 1 game away from making the playoff, which I think would be their main goal coming into the tournament. Whereas for Fnatic, it's a lineup that it's in fact this entire lineup. We've seen them win tournaments before. There was this infamous IEM Katowice 2 years ago where they ended up winning the entire thing based on Flusher going absolutely ham on 5th map, which was Train.
Yeah,
I
it was
believe,
wild.
Right? It was wild. We know the peak of this lineup. We know how good they can be, but as said before on this desk, it's been mixed signals. The first game wasn't too good, second game was all right. Yesterday against G2, that looked like a Fnatic that could potentially go all the way. So what to expect, Potter? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but I gotta say, speaking a little bit more about the Furia lineup, I really like this pickup. I think that Art, you know, there's been a lot of arguments to be made about Art and his aggression and how does that connect with the rest of the team? How does his aggression, how is his teammate supposed to capitalize on that? And there was a little bit of a disconnect there for quite some time over the summer after they emerged onto the scene and had some success. So I love this Henny pickup. I think with Art taking a step back, as you said, taking on that second IGL, or opping role, and we saw yesterday on Train, he aced with that op, and so he's certainly confident with that weapon. And so being in just an IGL, being able to focus on that and then capitalize on his aggression and let his team capitalize on it, I think it's going to be really beneficial.
Just to add on to that, it's hard to be critical to a team that is proactively trying to do something, right? Because they had success, as you said, but then it kind of chimed down. It was a little bit of a disconnect. They weren't performing up to the expectations, and then you're proactively trying to change stuff and you're trying to make it better. You can never critique that. Whatever that's the right decision or not, we'll have to find out.
I mean, just basic human stuff right there. You don't want to critique someone for trying to better themselves or their situations. That's basic human things that should be happening around the world. But hey, that's for another platform, another podcast, another time. Yes, sorry, man. Gotta cut you off right there. Look, Fury and Fnatic going on the B stream. We are about to get underway with Vitality Astralis over here on the A stream, which does have some pretty cool implications in terms of the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. However, we do have to go to a break. So coming up after the break, we're gonna have that first map of the series, and that's gonna be one that you don't want to miss, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with CORSAIR DreamHack Masters.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready now, sorted out the network issues, and should be good to go with the game here. It's going to be an exciting game.
I don't think the audience knew there were network issues.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what.
I think you just ruined everything.
It could have been. You know what? It's fine.
Yeah, good start. Here we go. It is a big match. Astralis versus Vitality, as the desk highlighted so long ago. A match where both teams have already qualified to the playoffs, have already qualified to play the stage here in Malmö. It's all about, at this point, who's going to go to the semifinals, who's going to go to the quarterfinals.
Who's going to have an extra day?
Who gets to, hang out and have a nice day off.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be a really interesting game, couldn't it? Astralis are, I guess you would have to say, are the favorite team.
Heavy favorites.
Heavy favorites, even. But there's always a bit of an X factor. Now, I do think the maps are kind of rough on Vitality.
Yeah, well, especially
Vertigo.
Especially for just bringing Shocks in. And I don't want to overblow that. I think it's going to be relatively. I think his integration into this team is going to be relatively quick, but still, Vertigo as a map is probably, I have to imagine that most teams have this as like the last map they really work on.
Yeah, right now.
I could be way off, but this feels like the map that just no one really wants to go into early.
The ugly child. Yes, I agree. It is going to be Astralis starting on the T side and Vitality on the CT side. So big welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. A best of 3 coming your way, and there's even more to come later on. It's going to be a fantastic day of Counter-Strike, which already has been And
Has it?
I think it's been great. Liquid.
It hasn't been.
I can't even make fun of it. I don't think it's funny.
I know it's not funny. There's nothing funny about it.
But well played to Greyhound, I guess. We've got to give them credit.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. I like seeing that as well, especially from that region. It's really, really cool to see a second team. We've had a couple times. There's been a couple opportunities for second teams from Australia to do some damage, and it's never quite come to fruition. They've had like a few upsets, but never been able to complete the run to the playoffs. So it's cool to see that happen from Greyhound.
This is bordering on being the slowest pistol round I've seen so far on Vertigo.
Well, buckle in, Anders. This is how Vertigo plays.
Yeah, and then when the action happens, it's all in, right?
Yes.
It's very difficult indeed. Now, Device is going to be leading the charge with a P250. That makes sense. We're looking for a medium-range headshot here on anyone on the other side. Shox is holding one angle here, but that's a lot of people in middle. And if they break through, I mean, now he's looking the other way. We've actually seen this smoke before from Astralis as well. Should give them a lot of room to work with towards that A bomb side, or so the B bomb side. We'll see if it's going to be working out. Still only shooting through the smoke, and so far nobody finding any luck. 25 seconds left, and yep, they're going to be collapsing right on the bomb site. RPK still waiting back here. Oh, Saiwu, that's a big opening. A double headshot, and just needs one more, but he can't find it. They're taking down RPK, so they know Saiwu's still back here. That actually gives away a little bit of the trap that otherwise could have been set, but it doesn't matter. Oh, what a champion! 4 kills, all of them headshots, and I mean, that is the secret weapon that they have, isn't it? You
mentioned the X Factor. What a hold from Saiwu. No one even touched him. He dropped the first 2 players, and that was the main aggression onto the bomb site. And from there, look, that's beautiful. And then obviously RPK going down, but Saiwu's just able to hold the angle. That's actually,
whoa.
I mean, as much as the comparisons we make between Saiwu and Simple at the moment, did you see Simple's pistol round on Dust 2 yesterday with a long hold? He did the very similar thing where he just kind of peeks into the bomb site, gets 2 1-taps.
How long before somebody with a lot of money just tries to put Simple and Saiwu on the same team?
I honestly
forget the reasoning. Forget
the logic behind it. Yeah,
just don't even think about the logic behind it. Just
I actually hope that never happens. I hope they become like the Batman and Joker of Counter-Strike. Like they're just gonna be like just locked in an eternal duel against each other.
That would be great. I would appreciate that.
Which one's which?
I feel like Simple is gonna have to be the Joker, isn't he?
Yeah.
We could paint his face and everything. I think it'd be great. Have a whole story going on there.
Yeah, nothing's ever gone wrong with that.
Definitely not. It's Glaive to go down first, and not really any investment from Astralis. They didn't get the bomb down, so they did get rid of Saiwu here. But other than that, should be a safe round. I don't even know what that's a headshot.
Yeah,
he looked like he was shooting him in the feet.
Well, I mean, Device has really snuck into the middle of his defense, which is crazy. Alex is going to come try and recover, but there's timing everywhere, and Device now has the M4. This could turn. Deagle out as well. Good frag, and he's got another one.
That's an ace. He actually aced them in the second round. Look at Glaive. I don't even think he understands.
I don't understand how Device got there with nobody noticing. Alex was pushed up on that ramp the whole time. They must have just passed like ships in the night.
Look at this.
That is a bit weird. I think he obviously would have got the kill anyways, right? But the picked up M4, Alex doesn't quite know how to recover. And this is kind of what we just talked about as well. Like, let's just ignore that's an incredible play, an incredible round from one of the best players in the world. But, you know, the organization of a map like Vertigo, when you're trying to introduce it with a new player, you're going to lose track. You know, Shox being the one who's initially rotating over towards that bomb site, maybe loses track of where they can be, not really sure how to communicate things.
So that was Saiwu getting a quad kill on the pistol, and Device saying, you know what, bro? I'm just going to ace this, and we're right back in the game. That's, I don't know, that's kind of a hardcore way to get a game started.
That is a really intense way to get a game started. Back to pistols, that's got to hurt for Vitality. You got to feel like you started on the right foot. It's been, your other leg's been swept out beneath you very early. And Glaive going to be willing to take this slow and probe into the bomb site. A little bit of noise made, and he should shy away off that just to see if there's any response to the footstep. Here it is. Pop Flash comes out a little bit late. Glaive, he ducks underneath it, still loses the battle. The CZ from Saiwu coming to fruition.
A relatively simple setup. A couple of good kills in return, at least for Astralis, but I just, for some weird reason, even though that it's such a fundamental thing, you know, throwing a flashbang for a teammate, I somehow feel like it's still underrated in some strange way. It's like people sometimes try and do too elaborate things, and sometimes those setups can just be so powerful. I almost feel like if you just drilled those for like, you know, one day out of the week, you just said like, let's just get perfect. Not a set, that was sort of a slow setup, but like just improvising them immediately, where it's like we just know every single angle. We could do it, you know, with no time to set it up at all.
It's mostly about, I mean, they're not necessarily hard setups. I think most of it comes down to just communication, right? And sometimes I think the hard part is, you know, the person with the flashbang sometimes need to be the one that calls out, you know, I can flash for you.
Yeah.
And that's that element of communication that I think maybe it's not missing in the pro scene because we see it so frequently with the top teams, but I think maybe when you get down to some of the second tier teams and that big step up for squads is when teams start getting comfortable with that. Speaking very generally, of course.
Definitely. I feel like there's, I feel like what happens sometimes is that some of the teams, whenever you get like a new lineup and they don't have a deep map pool and they don't have like really elaborate strats and counter strats against certain teams, then they do end up relying on those kind of things. And then there's some middle section before you get to like the Astralis or, you know, Liquid level or whatever, where suddenly it feels like people forget about that though again. Like they don't do it to the same level.
Same degree.
Which is frustrating because I do feel like sometimes you don't have to make things overly complicated. That was... I mean, he flashed himself.
Yeah, that was one of the best flashbangs I've seen in a long time.
It's like he threw it and then he went around the forklift, forgot about it in the meantime.
I think he must have thought it was going to go farther beyond the wall. Either way, no consequences. Maybe he just didn't care. Molotov out to the sandbags, clear out the difficult corner. Glaive again going to be the one to take point in challenging into this bomb site. He's got plenty of bodies to find. That's the M4. Good headshot from Alex. He's down to about 46 HP. Dupree watching the flank, so Astralis is pretty committed to this bomb site. And here come all the smokes, but still a minute and 10 seconds left in the round. They can use their utility. They can patiently take into this bomb site, although a lot of damage being output by the defense.
Yeah, Sip and Make is dropping very low. Device, that is scary. Just holding on to the wire for now. Quite literally, they're going to go and try and fight him, but he is just picking them apart. He finally goes down, but he had done enough, and shots will go down. Nice triple for Device. He's 10-2 early on in the game, and it is really early on, so let's not read too much into it. But still, good round for Astralis.
Yeah, really negating a lot of that damage. That was a bit of a scary moment. That had me worried.
Working on the outside of the construction field, you know, just...
I've wanted to spend a day being a window washer. I think that'd be fun. Hanging on the side of tall buildings.
Fun? What, in what city? You live in Chicago. There's a lot of wind there. Is that where you want to go?
I think that'd be cool. My building is a high-rise as well, so I see the window washers all the time.
All right.
And I kind of want to talk to them and just like, can I come hang out with you guys up there for a day?
You should do that.
Yeah.
And we'll film it.
Regardless, Alex is going to have a big chance. They haven't cleared this out. Nice shot from him, but how do you get away? This is going to be an interesting attempt. And yeah, now Zaiwu has to fall back, and look at how much time he's so exposed, and that's some of the danger of being aggressive on that ramp. And by the way, when we get to the CT side, we've seen Astralis have to be very successful with that aggression, and again, Glaive is going to lead the way. And don't worry, that beeping you hear is a new feature of the map of Vertigo. It is a construction site after all.
Yeah, safety first, ladies and gentlemen. Want to make sure that, you know, nobody's walking out with any hard hats on or anything like that.
Right, we need to be OSHA certified.
Those steel tip boots and all of it, you need all your toes when you get back home.
Well, actually, the steel tip boots is there are some construction and some, you know, hard working areas where they're not allowed. Because if something's too heavy and drops on a steel tip boot, it is just going to cut your foot in half.
Oh.
Graphic content warning.
Yeah. That doesn't sound good. Although
I worked a job in an auto factory and they told us we weren't allowed to have steel-toed boots for that reason.
This is a medical question more than anything, but if it just cuts all of them clean off, maybe you can just have them all reattached again. Whereas if they get crushed, there's no chance of that, right?
That's a fair point.
So maybe you actually prefer that.
Yeah. Well, maybe you prefer that.
I'm just thinking out loud.
There's a reason why I got it.
It's on everyone's mind, really. I just said it. That was that's set up early on, right? I understand that setup if Zaiwu's going to be there to follow up on the aggression so that he isn't just fighting alone over there.
Right.
But it sort of felt like Zaiwu saying, yeah, I want out. And then he's alone and there's really nothing to do. He was throwing a smoke himself. I feel like there could have been a flashbang or something. Like, I feel like that whole setup, I understand the theory of it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the follow-up.
Well, that's yeah. I think that's a fair point, and that's why those calls as well. That call from Zaiwu, if you either need to commit to that fight or you need to fall back immediately, and he seemed to be caught in like a little bit of a weird limbo.
That's even true, yeah. So then he stopped even halfway through and said, "Okay, I'm kind of going to take the fight," and
this time not blinding themselves.
Improvements.
Baby steps. That's what Bill Murray taught me. And what about Bob? Device.
Baby shark.
I hate you. Again, I can't reiterate that enough. Device is walking up this ramp. Very patient in peeking into this bomb site. He's had some very nice shots on this. Seems like Device, and we've even seen Glaive go for the FP. Ooh, this is a cool position. That's 1 kill for you. Bomb is down nearby. He can transition out. Actually, it's on the other side of that wall, excuse me. But RPK has control of that B stairs, and that'll be difficult if Astralis want to come back to it. But Glaive is going to backstab everyone. Well, maybe not everyone. Shox has a chance to stop him here. That's an awkward situation. But how is Astralis repeatedly finding themselves? Remember, Device in the second round getting to weird places. They're finding gaps in this defense all over.
And that is truly terrifying because, I mean, if this is happening already, it's not good news. And it is easy for it to happen on this map, right? Because if you get called into a bomb site, if you're the guy playing the middle of the map, normally that actually means, like, think of any other map like Inferno or Dust 2, where if you're the mid player, you are the guy rotating around. But if you do that here at the wrong time and somebody sneaks through, the round is over. So...
Listen, a lot of gun salvage in this round by Vitality. This has turned from just, a situation that probably going to lose to now a chance. But Device evening the odds, taking down Shox into a 3-on-3, but the pistol's coming in. It's Zip right on the other side of the smoke. He's got a double kill, and Device holds on as well. A 5th round now for Astralis.
What was RPK doing? It looked like he jumped into crouch to try and defuse Sipnix. I was very confused.
He might have been trying to jump up there. Isn't there that?
Oh, there's a little. Yeah,
there's something you can jump up over there. Jump up.
Or maybe he was flashed and it just looked funny.
Yeah.
Now double AWP, which I think is I like AWPs on this map, even though it's a close range kind of map. But I like them on the CT side for the potential early aggression like that. You get a kill like that, you've increased your chances of winning the CT side by like 2%. You still might lose. You almost certainly will lose, but that early kill,
it's worth it.
It's well worth it. Bomb dropped by Astralis, that they're just gathering information, looking for points of weaknesses.
Oh, good swing. The pop flash did nothing. Vegas not blind at all.
I still want them to do it, Vitality. I realize that backfired, but...
No, I mean, you have to appreciate the attempt. Apex just looking for information, taking a shot, and actually, it's not a bad blind shot to take through the smoke. It looked like it could have landed in a different universe. Dupree playing with the edge of this...
One of the other universes.
Edge of the building?
Jason.
One of the universes.
There's many at the same time. Just gonna make sure we understand that.
One of the infinite. Zaiwu tagged up as well. This is gonna be the interesting. Ooh, this play from Alex down the ladder. Oh, he's made a footstep. Magus didn't hear that, or maybe he might have thought it was a teammate. Maybe he just wasn't paying attention. But Alex is gonna have such a nice flank.
Yeah, but. Where do you go and how do you, timing here, this is a bit of a roulette. Nice shot from Zaiwu and Alex. Is he going to be able to do it? That's the bomb drop. That's a big kill with 30 seconds left. Really well done here on the Vitality captain. And now Apex on the other side of the smoke, but somebody has to go back. And Dupree now, I think he ends up flanking Alex, which again is one of the weird features of this map. 20 seconds here for a 2-on-2. That AWP, Apex missing the shot, the Molotov. Actually, Apex going down, and Device coming in again to save the round, sneaking through the middle of the map.
Again, just, losing track of where that opening can be, and Device, I mean, he's not even involved in most of that action. He's just in perfect position to punish those players. A missed shot from the AWP, trying to rotate to a new location, and Device is ready and waiting for him. Well done. Device has had a stellar game so far. He's 16-2, Anders. Why are we getting so many crazy individual effort? Well, it was at the first half yesterday, Crims had 26 kills? Something?
26, yeah.
Something weird. Did you see the stat? He actually ended as, that was like the 3rd highest ADR ever delivered in a professional CS match. You know what's even weirder than that? Is that, I didn't even remember this, Rubino had the #2 highest ADR.
Really?
And we haven't even seen him play since like Epicenter 2016.
Yeah, he has had like a very strange career, hasn't he?
I'd like to see him back.
Yeah, I can't even really ever figure out why, why there isn't more, people sort of pushing to pick him up or anything like that. But maybe that's in the future too. 6-1, there was a timeout called there for Vitality to just sort of have a conversation about what is going on. I still prefer the style that they were trying to play that previous round, where they try and go for some early, like flash their way into a kill, try and do something. I think it's preferable to waiting around.
This hasn't even felt like a really that fancy of a T-half from Astralis so far. It just seems like they're willing to kind of crawl up and take fights, and maybe it's a game plan where they just say, let's test and see if Vitality players are going to be, used to these angles. That's an awkward battle. As the smoke clears, Magus knows the response is coming from the other side, and now Zip, he's just going to peek down and find one on the ramp. And...
Yeah, I think, so ZywOo got the first kill on the Device over there, and I think Sip was just guarding the rifle all along, saying someone's going to come try and pick this up, and that was Apex. So 7-1.
We haven't had anyone fall off the building yet. I'm a little bit upset about that.
Only Device after he died, right? That doesn't really count.
It was the body. It wasn't Device himself.
No,
his soul had left the body.
Already departed. Yeah, you're right. You went skydiving once. Would you ever do like base jumping off a building? Is that out of the question?
Oh, I don't know. I would like to say yes.
I feel like that's significantly more risky.
I'd like to say yes, but we'll hold the thought.
And illegal.
dupreeh, he looks like he's on the edge. He looks like he's waiting for a pop flash. Here it comes. That's nice. And falling down. There goes RPK, and this aggression is pushed back. Surely Glaive tries to punish further. He comes up the stairs and shocks. He gets punished with the AWP, but Apex, if he had turned that corner, he might have had a free kill, but what a risk that would have been. You could see him checking beneath the great flooring.
There just aren't many places that are safe on this map on the CT side, and now it's 3 versus 5. Shox is scoped up, walking around looking for a kill, but I don't know how you can find the right position at this point. Megas picked up the bomb in the meantime, and they're bringing it to the A-bomb side, it seems like. So that's going to catch them even further off guard. Device is over there checking it out, Sip as well. And Shox, I think this flank, unfortunately, is going to be way too late.
It's all on ZywOo. Missed shot from Device. A rare miss as well. That was exactly what he was looking for. Shox on the flank is not going to be ready. dupreeh watching that at Forklift. That's a hard position to clear out. And ZywOo and Alex, they've got to try and save. Alex brought down to 20 HP, and ZywOo is going to have a fighting retreat, but he's even worried about the flank. He knows that Astralis has been working this map so well. There's one shot. Vegas not going to be able to punish him. Good follow-up from ZywOo, but they're still searching, and he's got another. That's 3 kills in the run. He can go for this. He can go for this so much. I don't think he's going to win it. Oh, Astralis overextend, and ZywOo has pulled something out of nowhere. Way too early to commit that many resources, that many players to the hunt.
Oh, it's so ridiculous. Especially the way that he finishes it.
Yeah, like, a little one tap.
Just a sweet little one tap.
Le one tap.
Exactly. That's what they call it in French, isn't it? Oh, man.
That's not gonna, that's obviously, this is not a repeatable victory win condition for Vitality.
No, that's the problem, isn't it, though? Like,
you can't even be happy about that win if you're Vitality. You're like, yeah, we got one, but that was kind of stupid.
That is outrageous. And at the same time, yeah, it does kind of just, you have to think, yeah, but can we actually do it again? Or at least start to win more rounds here. 7-2. Vitality could still do something here. Oh, ZywOo's so close up, and that's the problem. Fires the gun and does make it back around, but surely there's a grenade that's going to be following this up. He's already low on health, and he needs some backup. Friendly grenades trying to maybe push them back a little bit, but a Molotov, he's so worried about any grenade landing on him right now, and the fun will come to an end. He's just trying to stay put for the moment. They're thinking about it, Glaive. That's the wrong direction. And now, is he going to get a chance for a kill at least?
Oh my god.
Oh no.
It's happened again. This is going to be so brutal. Shox goes down. This defense is going to start crumbling, and a nice shot from Apex. That's the big one. ZywOo did eventually fall. There was so few places he could go. Alex trying to hold on, but Astralis is applying so much pressure, and this isn't even the end game.
No. They're now back at the B bomb site with dupreeh already holding it, and the bomb has been picked up and is making that way. And Device, if they're not careful, he's going to sneak in behind them as well. dupreeh holding such a forward position that you can see RPK not ready for it. Smoking off. You can jump on the side there, but if you're Alex, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Checkmate.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. He knows it as well. Not going to take that risk. And there comes Device, who's waiting over at the A side, so great attack on the A bomb side, then the switch back, and just, it's all working out. Another couple of kills for Device, putting him at 18-4 right now. So he's got some catching up to do. He needs like 10 more kills to catch Crims at this point.
It's possible he's got 5 more rounds. Back to that, I want to touch on that base jumping thing. I think the big difference is when you go skydiving, right? You're hooked up to somebody, and he pulls you out of the plane with him. Base jumping feels like you have to be real committed. Like
I'll
you have
push
to
you off the building if you want, Jason. It's fine.
All right.
We can arrange for those. That seems like the least problem. We had to figure out what happens when you land and get arrested afterwards. That's where it gets real interesting. But we'll have a documentary team. We'll chronicle all of it.
Cool. I'm in. Again, a lot of pressure going to be applied to this A bomb site, Glaive leading the way, and they've just had, I mean, this is happening so early. They've put, every time Vitality's been aggressive on that A ramp, they've been punished, and Glaive has found a window here. Definitely going to find that, definitely going to find the follow-up, or Zip will behind him. And Astralis doesn't even need to worry about rotating around the map. They're just going to move forward into A. They were given so much respect and so much space to work with.
What if Valve bought like the copyrights for all of the people that played in Die Hard, and they made all the models look like the characters from Die Hard? And you could be Bruce Willis, and you could just pretend that you were on a skyscraper, you know.
It could be Hans.
Yeah, exactly. All of those people.
Could you be the Bruce Willis at the end who's shirtless, who has the gun duct tape to his back?
Yeah, and well, that would
could
be
they
like
bring in the lines from the movie as well? Because now that.
If they could bring the lines in, you could have the gun taped to your back. That would be the rarest skin of all time, right? Like that would be the one that everyone would want. Yeah, I would.
That'd be like the Dragon Lore of skins.
It would be. Models. Then suddenly people would be playing Vertigo a lot. Yeah, I think that would make it all worth it.
Well, you've heard us, Valve. We'll take 10%.
Good luck on negotiating that. 9-2, and as weird as it seems, I think this is either going to be early aggressive kills from Vitality or Cyber getting more quad kills. I think those are the two options right now.
And Cyber getting a quad kill isn't exactly a strategy you can call for. Controlling mid at least, Alex has made the jump over. I wonder if Megas heard that. Might be calling it out. That's a risky turn in towards ladder room. Megas going to follow up with it as well. And ooh, Alex is a big win. Nicely done. Transitions to the AK-47 and falls away.
Really nicely done. I'm surprised that he won that, Alex, but trying to take a risk and it pays off, and I just think they have to. I don't think the model of staying passive is going to be worth it. Now still right on top. In fact, Glaive just jumping parkour over him and able to find him in Apex. That is not a safe position.
What an unfortunate timing for Apex.
Yeah, that wasn't good at all.
Bomb being planted, all faked by Dupree, hoping someone is going to jump through that smoke and everything. The utility is refreshed, spam coming through. Shox can't find connections on Dupree. That means he can get into a new position. And the ult from far back at Sandbags.
They have two smokes for the retake here on Vitality. I think that's the most promising thing right now, if they can sort of carpet the whole bomb site. Oh, the wall bangs coming through. Glaive taking down Apex and RPK. They didn't even see it coming, and he's going to follow it up. Instead, quad kill for Glaive, and surely that's all done. No kit on Shox. It doesn't matter how many smokes are on this bomb site. It's not going to matter. Device is waiting in the corner. That smoke's going to fade any second, and Shox, he's out of time. He just has to run for it. A close round, but that won't make a difference in the end. 10-2 here for Astralis, and oh, okay.
That's got to be the most frustrating thing, is that was one of the more promising rounds that Vitality had, and look at him, he knows he's done him dirty. Double spam through the wall.
He's got him in his crosshairs, doesn't he?
I believe that's a sight. He's got him in his sights.
Listen, it could be.
I've never seen a sight look like that.
I understand anyway. I like it. I think it's fine. That is, I don't know. What do you even say if you're trying to retake that?
And then just two people die through the wall. Yeah, it's kind of just a compounding feeling of what's been going on this whole half. Just outmaneuvered on the map. We've seen it so many times, and that's the big thing. Is obvious. What's obvious so far with this 10-2 lead is that the map knowledge that Astralis have, both as a team and on an individual level, is just you know, miles above what Vitality's been able to show us.
It's really, really rough at the moment. 8 out of Cyber's 11 kills are in 2 rounds, and those are the 2 rounds that they've won. It's so stupid. Oh, man. This aggressive play that we've seen before, and I'm pretty sure Astralis have as well. Apex still landing a kill behind it. That's well done. They have minimal weaponry in this round, so a victory here would be phenomenal. Oh, Alex. You get shot in the back. Ooh. Yeah, it took a little while.
The Device just think it was too easy using an ult. Now he's switched over to the Deagle. RPK's only able to get 1. And Zip, he's going to pick up the bomb. He's got to be careful. There is someone pushing, but he's going to be able to get away. ZywOo just a few seconds behind him, and Shock's rotating through CT spawn. And again, just the positioning for Astralis when they eventually do get over here is going to be so strong. This is the only hope they really have. If ZywOo can cause some chaos by finding a kill on the flank, I think he's going to miss the chance to stop the bomb being planted. It just goes down, but he's in position for one. If that pulls Astralis' attention backwards, then Shocks can come into play, and I take it all back. He's gone down, and Magus finds ZywOo. Just barely.
Leaning right on that edge, isn't he?
That's a bit risky.
11-2, and some close rounds, you know? 1 versus 1, some 2 versus 2s here, but they would have to win a fair few of them to make this actually close. 20-4 right now on Device. He can still do it. Get some aces here at the end.
I think you let him play Gladiator. Just have him go challenge, and you just play the game 4v5 when he dies, or whatever it might be. There's the first. Oh yeah, press the issue. I like this. See what more he can get, exploiting the middle of the map. Double flashbang coming out, aggressive peeking from the AWP. Where does he want to go? Rest of his team is all ready to hit this B bomb site, and Device is just causing so many problems. And now he can just split the map in half. As the AWPer, he can just pretty much stay here if he wants and just control this portion.
Yeah, they can't really easily do anything about it, can they? Peeking that would be very dangerous, but if they ignore him and just leave him here, that's also a problem.
Well, he just becomes the pivot point. And look at how far on the minimap. Apex is number 5, Shocks is number 1. Look how far back they're playing from middle. They just don't want to mess with anything in that part of the map because they know Device just has it held down. And this is just such a denial of information.
They've got 3 people holding middle right now, Vitality. Even Cyber, the A-bomb side, is sort of looking, or I guess he's maybe down below, but still. 2 people holding middle out of the 4 that are left. That's still kind of, that's kind of risky. And RPK is in a position that almost always gets Molotov, and he does not have a smoke. So he could be, becoming irrelevant pretty quickly here.
I have to imagine Device is going to pounce while this set piece comes in, while the distraction is there. Yeah, the spades come out. Apex, now his attention is turned, and it's going to be so hard for him to help his teammate. Big win for Apex, but his teammate has gone down in the B bomb site, and it's, once again, Apex is going to have to pick up the pieces. Here they come swinging wide into the bomb site. Zip has found it around the smoke, and Shocks, not really a whole lot of options with that smoke in his face, although another good flank from ZywOo might open up the possibility.
Yeah, he's done a lot right now. He's low on health, though, but that double kill, it could give them everything. Shocks is on the other side with an AWP. It's kind of risky. If he looks the wrong way at the wrong time, he could be dead. That flashbang, it's 1 centimeter short, but still, that's a quick kill from Shocks. Another round for Vitality, finally, a 3rd one on the board. That's well played. A good flank out of ZywOo.
That was just deja vu from the previous round, right?
Yeah.
ZywOo on the flank, Shocks on the other side, and this time it actually pans out. This time it actually works. Nice round from ZywOo with the double kill.
3-11. Yeah, I mean, not a lot has to go wrong again. They've had a number of those sort of 1v1s, 2v2s, and that was another one that could have also gone wrong. So good news that it didn't. Now they got 1 more round to try and get it. 11-4, I don't think that's very much on the low end. Yeah, but let's just see.
Okay, more aggression. We haven't seen this. Okay, well that's why. That's why right there. RPK, that's going to make you feel really uncomfortable when your teammate just gets deleted like that. And again...
Well, that whole setup behind the sandbag, something that Astralis, did a lot themselves.
Yeah, they know how to counter it for sure.
They boost up behind the big box there on the forklift, and they can look over it. And, or at least, I'm not sure if you actually can see people, you can definitely shoot through. And that's just what they try and do. They just say, you know what, if you're there, this is it. So 5 versus 3 right off the bat.
And Shocks is on his horse. He's trying to hustle back to that B bomb site. Vitality just have no information of what's going on in the map.
Oh, this is where you call in that favor from ZywOo, right? Say, you know what, it's been a little while.
This is the ZywOo quad kill round strategy.
You don't want to use it too often. It becomes, becomes boring, predictable.
Yeah, and then
the fans get used to it. So every once in a while, you just...
Once per half.
Once per half. Maybe now a little bit more. It's a rough half, this one. They've all stacked the B bomb side, which in a 15th round you hate to see it, but I can't even blame them.
No.
Like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, 3 on 5, and especially because those kills happened so early in the round, there was just a lot of time for Astralis to manipulate the map. And now ZywOo's occupied here. Magus doesn't have to commit to that fight. He knows he just has to keep the attention. Excuse me, that's Shocks, who is eventually going to go down, low HP. And Device finds the last one, 12-3 in the favor of Astralis, showing their dominance. And we're going to send it over to Frankie at halftime.
weird to think, isn't it, that just, a couple of months ago, Astralis were always banning this map first, and now they've absolutely mastered it, and Vitality are clearly running scared. Can ZywOo really turn this thing around in the second half? Probably not. And actually, you know, I've got to give them credit. They are holding on over there. They're not panicking too much. Astralis behind me, though, even though Zonic is allowed to talk to the team between rounds, he's staying silent. Glaive has got his game plan. He knows what he's doing, so we'll see that continue potentially after the break. Or will we?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's Vitality and Astralis, 12-3 in favor of the Danes on Vertigo. And it's the first map in the best of 3 here at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters. And of course, that's not looking good for the French-British side at all.
No, this is going to be a really difficult half. Ooh, look at this as well, a stack. Glaive is going to peek down a little bit deeper. There's the swing. They've caught him out in the open. That's the fight they've wanted. Look how much damage has been dealt. Only the 1 kill, but everyone is shipped down on this T side. And you can see Astralis, they're going to get away scot-free. And there is even a player behind. Oh, why not? Why not add it on top?
Oh, I just threw him in my mouth a little bit. That's disgusting. How can they keep getting away with it? 5 versus 3 now, and that was 4 people fighting at that A ramp, leaving Dupree on the other side.
They're just so softened up. ZywOo, 35 HP, even with the P250. Alex at 34. All that's really left is to go for it. You do have 2 smokes, but this position from Device is going to be tough to clear out with this kind of manpower. Where's the peak coming in? Alex and ZywOo brought down even lower. And Device, as soon as he makes his move, oh, he's been spotted. He's been spotted, an awkward timing on that. Nice shot from ZywOo. So the bomb actually being planted is probably like the best win you could hope for. And this would be a miraculous hold on the retake, and ZywOo is going to deliver another headshot. A chance now.
Meg is finally getting him down, so that's a bit of a problem. But yeah, I think maybe Astralis trying to fight a little bit too earlier on that smoke. Probably not necessary. They don't have a kit currently picked up, and they're going to tap the bomb and try and force Vitality into a fight here. And RBK obliging. Going to get that kill on Magus. They could follow it up. Great double kill here. And now Alex, he's so far back, in fact, that Dupree can't even close to find him. And I think that probably is it. Like, the time is simply going to be running out here. Looking for Alex, but he was so far away. That's a huge win for Vitality. And yeah, I think honestly Astralis made a mistake fighting around the smoke that much.
Yeah, I think they did misplay it as well, a little bit. Obviously, I mean, an individual misplay from Device, or at least a nice spot from ZywOo. He gets caught on that boost box, but those 2 kills were brutal, and just at the end there, that 2-on-2, or like 3-on-3, I guess it would be a 3-on-2. They were just never really swinging, taking that fight together. This was such a good start from Astralis. You do not see them lose those kinds of advantages very frequently. This right here, like there's 2 more players, like why aren't they just swinging wide together?
Swing for the fences, yeah. I feel like that's that's a mistake for Astralis. But honestly, what a recovery from Vitality, who must be feeling low on morale at this point.
Yeah, good shots from ZywOo to even things right when the bomb gets planted.
You know another skyscraper movie that's a bit old, but featuring one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Drop Zone with Wesley Snipes.
Oh, it's been a minute since I saw that when I was younger. I don't fully remember it.
I just wish Wesley Snipes had made more movies.
Isn't there a movie now that just came out recently, like literally called Skyscraper, The Rock?
I don't know, there could be.
Which essentially just felt like a remake of Die Hard.
I'll have to check that out. I don't know if they should be remaking it, but those movies are just, you know.
I don't think it's like an actual remake. I just think it was just like, oh look,
spiritual remake.
It's the same plot, right? Like there's a battle in a skyscraper.
It's not a bad concept.
No, it's a great concept.
We've got our own, everyone can follow along, like no one's going to get confused about what's going on. We're fighting in a skyscraper.
All right.
Alex has been tagged up already and Sip in a pretty dangerous position, especially if you slow peek this corner. Flashbangs double do a good job, and Dupree never saw it coming, almost shooting his own teammate. Then, Device going to steal the kill, and that's a shot on Apex, and now they are really getting slowly whittled away. This isn't good news at all. Nice shot from ZywOo, and the follow-up, it's almost there, but Device will take care of business. A triple kill for him, landing him at 26. And that, I don't know, that's so hard for Vitality.
That's both pistol rounds won by Vitality, and both second rounds lost by Vitality. Astralis wins in both. And the first one, remember, it was the ace from Device, who started out with the Deagle. This time it's a triple kill from Device with the Deagle.
Yeah, so if you were writing propaganda for Vitality, you'd write the headline saying, you know, Vitality wins 100% of pistol rounds against Astralis, and then you would just end the story.
Vegas controlling mid. He's spotted one or two. That nade that's well timed. That's a great nade. Doesn't go as far as he probably would have liked to do the most damage, and now Alex and Shox, surely you're committed to this fight. You know you've got one player isolated. As tough as it's going to be to clear him out of this position, you have to be happy that you've at least found this battle until Glaive comes into the action. Now there's two. Pop Flash is mistimed from Astralis, but still the kills are going to go their way.
Device going down, so not getting a chance here to try and follow up on the record setting. Still could stop it, I guess, that he could do some more. RPK. It's a long fight, but he's going to come out on top. But both him and ZywOo are low on health, and doesn't seem like a realistic shot at winning this, especially not with timing like that.
RPK behind the forklift, and just the low health, and the SMG is going to finish him off. Yeah, 2 rounds away for Astralis from taking this first map, and Vitality, you again, another scenario where we just said there's no wrong answers because of how far back you are, but it's almost like just buy what you can. They're going to save here and then go for the 11-round comeback, but
yeah,
you can't really criticize either direction they want to go.
No, they're low percentage chances anyway, so aggressive here, but Vitality just have nothing to respond with. No AWP to shoot through the box, and no grenades, Molotovs or anything to challenge it.
It's nice though that Astralis is, it's kind of like they're giving him a lesson on how to pull off that aggression, that A-ramp aggression.
Oh, like a free lesson?
Yeah, they're just like, listen guys, we'll help you out. If you guys want to start learning. Ooh, the plant? That's great.
That was what the whole thing was about.
What a champion.
Yeah, that's a little bit of bonus money, right? But still, 15-4. Astralis off to a blazing hot start here on Vertigo. First map in the best of 3, now Vitality going to have 11 rounds in a row for a comeback.
Do you think Astralis was just like chilling today, and they're kind of watching the games and like, oh, so EG's knocked out, Liquid's knocked out.
Yeah.
Just giggle to themselves, they're like, this is going to be fun.
It's all working out. I would be so careful about that, though, because, I don't know, that kind of mentality has crushed so many teams in the past. I would hope that that's not what they're thinking.
Ooh, dangerous. Nice shot from ZywOo. However, they might not know that Magus is here. Apex, I think, spamming just to be cautious rather than any kind of knowledge.
And that kind of spam, you always wonder, now he's falling back, but if you stick in that corner and they think they've checked it, like they think they already sort of spammed that corner, it can be dangerous. But now everyone's falling back instead, and it's still a 4-on-4. Glaive on one side, Dupree sort of holding along the middle. Device and Magus, well, Magus actually going to go back to the middle as well. So Device is mostly just here alone on that A ramp.
Well, maybe, yeah, that's going to be a nice shot from Shox. And this is kind of what they talked about on the desk. Shox in his natural habitat, able to be patient, able to lurk, and he's done a spectacular job. He's controlled the middle. He's found 2 kills. It's all on Device.
Beautiful handling of that AK on Shox. Don't get to see nearly enough of that nowadays.
Yeah, he's one of those guys who you just love watching his multi-kill sequences because it just looks incredible.
He's hiding inside of the smoke as well. Device actually going to somehow sneak around him. I would have thought maybe that would have worked out the other way. Bomb has gone down. And that re-smoke. Oh man, is he really going to try for it? I think he got such a big lead. He just wants to try and see if he can finish it in style, flashing his way through, and has quite the opposite effect.
50-50, right? Do you go right or left out of that smoke?
Yeah, and maybe the flashbang could have, I don't know, like, when you're that far up, maybe you just say, you know what.
Yeah, just why not go for it? See if you can get yourself a highlight clip. He's obviously at the point as well now where it's like, maybe we can just lose rounds and I'll break the record.
That would be...
That's a terrible idea, by the way.
Your teammates are not going to be happy.
No, they would not be happy if they found out that that's what you were doing. ZywOo, yeah?
Some perverse part of me would kind of appreciate it. I think there's some part of me that says, yeah, actually.
Yeah, go for the individual glory, screw the team.
Yeah.
I like hearing that from my partner in business.
Don't think about it, Jason.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
15-5, 21st round. Device caught in the middle of everything, but the refract from Aegis goes really quite good. That's, what, 3 people in the middle, more or less, ready for that push?
I put a stop to it, but I mean, this is the consequence, right? This is a nice play from Apex. I like it a lot. We saw Astralis do this a lot in the first half as well, just taking liberties and really probing, and now Apex, this is such a strong spot, especially now that kill is there, but he mistimed it. A very slow peek, and ZywOo had a chance to add one more on top of it. That's Glaive, who's lucky to be alive.
Look at RPK. If ZywOo just stays alive, RPK could flank the whole thing. Oh, they try and push him instead, and Glaive going to be going down. ZywOo very, very quick with that one.
Well, you're actually absolutely right, because ZywOo as well has to fall back and get the bomb. The bomb is so far away. That's going to be on ZywOo, and RPK just sat in the corner. He's saying, listen, no one's going to be able to get into this B bomb site. So just grab the bomb and come on over. Now he starts running, and I think that's going to be the signal. Xyp9x definitely heard those footsteps. Now, are they going to be prepared to clear out this corner from RPK?
It's very hard to even try and be prepared for it, right? dupreeh also going to be checking with an AWP sip coming in through the window, I'm assuming, on the other side. And definitely won't be easy at all. Bomb is planted. ZywOo close there to RPK. Missing the opportunity, dupreeh, and he's going to be going down. And now it's on Sip. He survives the first shot of ZywOo, but is he going to get a second chance here? He's done some damage already, and finally he'll hunt him down. Picking up another M4, and he's going to go straight for it. Surely just going to hold it down. RPK, he's going to be way too slow on this one, and that will be 16-5 here as Astralis end up taking down Vitality. The first map in a best-of-3, so I don't know. Still, obviously, more to come. Second map going to be Dust 2. You have to assume Vitality are going to be... It's still a tough map to play them on, but more of a chance.
Very, very, very good maps for Astralis in this. And Zip can't even be... It's not even like, you don't even celebrate anymore when he's winning that. I actually think Astralis got kind of loose with that level of lead. They were playing... I'm actually stand back, sorry. Yeah, they actually were feeling so confident they were going they're getting a bit overextended. They were having some fun with that one, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully the desk will too. That was a very quick map. What do you guys think?
You know what? We can have fun with just about anything, Anders. And you know what, Jason? I appreciate you too. However, it's time to get our own CAC W's in there. Right now, that was not a good start for the side of Vitality. You can't really sugarcoat it. Although it was the map pick of Astralis, you have to sit there and face the facts that, yes, that one's going to sting a little bit for the French and, well, one UK guy's side.
Sure did. I mean, ZywOo and Vitality got off to a good start, winning the pistol round. ZywOo really entering the game, and then Device happened. I mean, that force buy, that AC came in with there with the Deagle, that was absolutely insane.
Pretty
we
wild.
talked about the two of them as well being the two star players for each of the team, right? Those were the dual head-to-head that we pointed out, and you gotta give it to Device, right? He ended that one with 31 frags, I believe, and basically Astralis was on top of every single move they made. I think they went on to take 7 rounds in a row, only allowing Vitality to pick up 3 rounds in that first half, and by then the game was over.
It really was, and I have to point out once again this Vertigo pick from Astralis. I think it's so intelligent, and I think this really boasts up their map veto. Not that it wasn't strong before, because it certainly was, but now more teams are going to have to start remembering, dang, Astralis really set the standard. They set the meta on, if not all the maps already within our competitive scene, and now they're setting the standard on Vertigo. And so, you know, playing practices, theory crafting is a little bit different than getting that experience on a LAN match in a tournament environment where it matters a lot more. And Astralis are already ahead of the game, and I don't know how long it's going to be before another team actually challenges them on Vertigo.
Yeah, Vertigo just looked so cohesive to this team. Like, it looked like they knew exactly what they wanted to do, when they wanted to do it, and they were everywhere. Vitality never really had a foot in the door, I think.
They did it, and sorry, one more thing. Liquid couldn't even get a single T round versus Astralis on Vertigo back at the 2 times that they played them. And now, once again, we saw Astralis is such a strong start on their T side. So we know that they're very competent on both attack and defense, and it's spectacular to watch.
So you're saying they attack and they protect? Basically, Jacob?
That's what he said, right?
Okay,
that's what you said.
Jacob, we can run the numbers. They're all going to say the same thing. Device is absolutely nuts, and everybody else, well, they can just fall in line afterwards. You don't really have to do too much when one of them is boistering 152.4 ADR with 31 frags to his own name.
Oh, that's absolutely insane, and it was the impact of the plays he made as well. It's not 31 frags where often when you look at Device as a player, you often don't see all the frags he gets, right? It's not as flashy as a ZywOo, it's not as flashy as a Simple, and it wasn't really as flashy here either, right? It's 31 frags, but still he had a lot of impact in that game, especially in that first force buy where he just completely single-handedly took down Vitality, and that was what kickstarted the entire half for Astralis. Astralis. So once again, he's showing why he's one of the best players in the world, and Saiwu for that matter as well, had a decent game when you're losing 16-5, still posting 22 frags and posting, was it 93 ADR? That's still impressive, but simply wasn't enough. And then you can, you know, be a little bit critical towards Shox. Didn't really get into that game, and I think we need some more Shox on the server.
We do, and I mean, once again, Device's performance, I think it's so important to point out that every single time that Astralis have busted out Vertigo within the last 2 months or so, they've played it a lot differently each and every time. The last time they were constantly going towards A very slowly. Today we saw them on their T side focusing towards that middle. And I think this sort of diverse plays that you're bumping your head into the wall, figuring out what your strengths are going to be on this map. This is why I think Astralis are going to be so ahead of the curve on Vertigo. It allows players like Device to really find his form on a new map, new angles. There's a lot to learn.
There was a GIF I think OJ showed me one time where it was like a train going into walls, like a cartoon animated sort of like, yeah, it was kind of ridiculous. Anyway, we have Dust2, Vitality's pick. That surely is going to go a little bit better for him, right?
Yeah, it can't get any worse than Vertigo, so surely it is going to be better. I think there's more room for the players of Vitality to get going. I think Alex is a guy we haven't touched upon yet. Great in-game leader, a guy that has a lot of impact in the game as well when he's playing, especially on Dust2. We've seen him time and time again having a big impact there, so hopefully that's going to free up some space for him to get into the game. Whereas for Astralis, we know they're super solid on Dust2 as well. If your best map pick going in against a match against Astralis is Dust2, you know that you're in big trouble even before the game begins.
You definitely do, and I think that the casters, Jason and Anders, were mentioning that Vitality did look like they were still having fun. And I think when they came into this veto, it was either a toss-up between vetoing Train or vetoing Vertigo. They decided to gamble and say, Astralis probably aren't going to pick Vertigo versus us, and they vetoed that Train. I'm sure they're regretting that right now, but they got to forget about this first map, go into that Dust2 understanding, Vertigo was a fluke, we didn't practice it, we're not good on it anyway, but Dust2, this is our game. Yeah, Dust2 will give a shot at redemption for the side of Vitality, but we need to go to a break before we jump into any more Counter-Strike action here at the CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Malmö 2019. So, like I said, coming up after the break will be a little bit more of Astralis and Vitality action, and we're going to Dust2. Can Vitality turn it around? Either one of these teams are going to be in the arena, so make sure you don't miss it. Malmö!